A lot of individuals these days are unable to cope up with their work environment. Many of them inform or convey that they are working in an organization with a toxic culture, or the work culture is absolutely negative. It stifles their creativity and they are unable to perform to their maximum capacity. Now, this is an unfortunate reality in today's times where many organizations are focused on growth on an accelerated basis. Also, many organizations believe in achieving growth at any cost. And when this happens, employee emotions and the culture of the organization takes a beating. And in the whole process, it is the team members or employees who pay a heavy price. Now, how do you manage working in a toxic environment? So, let me tell you, it's not easy, but many times leaving the organization may not be an alternative for us because we have our own commitments, we have our own obligations at home and otherwise. So, just quitting a job is not an option for many of us. So, what do we do when we realize that the culture of an organization is slowly becoming toxic due to whatever reason, or without doing too much of research on an organization, we have ended up joining an organization with a toxic work culture? So, the first element would have to be to observe what is going around, to be self aware. Also, understand people you can rely and people you cannot. Okay, because in a toxic work culture, what happens is most people are opportunists, and there is a lot of psychophancy at play, and you'll need to have self-awareness there to understand what exactly is going on, who are the key players in this entire work environment, because unless you're self-aware of the surroundings, things are not going to be that great for you. The second point is ask yourself, is this the kind of organization which would change? Because many a times, once the culture of an organization becomes negative or toxic, many a times it's primarily because of the culture set by the senior leaders. What the leaders play, the team members replay. So reversing the culture is at least not within the scope or capability of people who are working down the ranks. So there you will need to ask, if the culture is not changing, what can you do? Whether it would be quietly working for the next few months or for a year and looking out for an opportunity, or possibly, trying your best to see, speaking to your leaders and checking whether something can be done to improve the work culture. So many a times what happens, even HR in such companies or human resources departments in these companies don't have much of a say. So even in case you have discussions with the HR professionals within such an organization, they are unable to do anything, or many a times they end up passing the information to the founders who possibly take it negatively, and then it becomes an even bigger issue for you. So communicate about this to someone within the organization only if you feel that you will not be targeted. Otherwise, what you need to do is plan on a strategy to exit if you think that matters will never improve. The third and the final point that you need to understand is, if a toxic work culture is having extremely negative impact on your health and mental well-being, be it your physical, psychological or emotional health, I think it's not worth being a part of such an organization. I know we all have bills to pay and we all have our liabilities, EMIs to manage. However, there is a bigger risk continuing in such a toxic environment, because that environment is going to lead you to a very negative turn of events. So you may actually have a nervous breakdown, or possibly your health may deteriorate to a level where you may need hospitalization. So let me tell you, I have seen that happening with a few individuals known to me. Within the work environments, they had to actually work for long hours. They were short on sleep. I know one of my friends who even got a blackout and had to be hospitalized. So you will need to think whether you want to go through similar circumstances. If the job doesn't make you happy, or you're not able to manage it effectively, there's a lot of negativity creeping up within you, then it's always best to say thank you and move on. Although it may not be that easy as it sounds, there are sacrifices to make. I believe it's always best to leave a ring of negativity than to be there and engage in your tasks. So, these are a few points pertaining to toxic work cultures. Unfortunately, I see an increasing trend of organizations encouraging or having such work cultures, which is unfortunate, and they don't realize that irrespective the gains that the founder has by ensuring that people work long hours, or they antagonize people by fear to give even more output than is actually planned, or a person can give in the normal or the practical sense, people don't realize the kind of impact that it has on their people, on their own brands, that's the personal brands of the founders and that of the organization. So we need to take a rethink on how we treat employees or team members and try to ensure that we don't create a work environment which is difficult for our team members to work in. Thank you very much.